Hello, and welcome to today's video. Today, I want to do a little quick video about glutathione. I'm actually going to take a bit of a different angle on this. What I really want to focus on today is why you don't tolerate glutathione well. Because there are a lot of people that hear about glutathione and, glutathione, it honestly sounds like a miracle pill. You're like, it boosts immunity, it supports detox, you use it to clear chronic infections, it's the primary antioxidant in the human body, it has a sulfur compound, so it's super helpful for even heavy metal detox and stuff. It sounds like a miracle pill. But my experience is that people hear this. I was the same, and I took it before I'd done any groundwork, and I did not tolerate it well. Like headaches, detox symptoms, like gut disturbances. It's one of these supplements, these compounds that, because it is so profoundly powerful and effective, usually it has to be one of the last things that we look at adding. So today I wanted to kind of take a little angle on trying to figure out why you don't tolerate glutathione and what that might be telling you and what we might be able to try instead to improve your tolerance so that we can get this absolute game changer, this power player of a supplement in your health protocol. So first of all, if you also don't tolerate other sulfur compounds. So if you've tried for example, NAC, or you've tried TUDCA or taurine, and you also don't really get on with these very well, or maybe you have some kind of similar reactions, there might be a good likelihood that you're for some reason you're struggling to process sulfur. There can be a lot of different reasons for this, and it could get quite technical if we try to explore exactly why. Instead of getting technical today, I actually want to just give you some suggestions of things to try that might help, that might improve this situation. And I'm going to start in order of which order I would try these. So the first thing I would try is Epsom salt baths. This is because Epsom salt baths have sulfur in them, but they're in the form of sulfate. So usually these other compounds that I talked about, these are in the top side of the transsulfuration pathway. So they have to be transsulfurated and they get processed down through into sulfite and then eventually into sulfate. And if you have bottlenecks in this pathway, you might be not very tolerant to sulfur. There are some mutations you can have, like CBS can contribute to this. There are also some important nutrients, which we're going to come to. But one thing that can work really well for some people is adding Epsom salts and building the dose up very, very gradually. If you are very sensitive, you could start really, really small, but the maximum dose that you need might actually be very high. I've used doses between 8 to 10 cups in a bath per day to help with this. It's something that you have to build into though. If you just jump straight in, you're probably going to hit the same kind of problems or maybe a different set of problems. Extreme lethargy would be a very, very common one, and cold and flu-like symptoms would also be very common as well. Sulfate is used a lot in detoxification processes. So I would start really small on half a cup and build this up gradually. And if you're able to get to the point where you're doing 8 cups in a day, you might not actually notice any benefit initially. But what I've found tends to happen is, although you might not feel a benefit from doing this, if you do this for 10 or 12 weeks and then you stop doing it, you might feel terrible all of a sudden. And this is because the improvement is very gradual and you don't really notice it. It's kind of like when you have a relative that has kids and the kids are growing, the parents can't see the kids growing that much. But when you go and see them, the kids are this tall and then they're like a giant all of a sudden the next week. So it's a bit like that. We don't see the progress because we're doing it every single day. But then when you stop doing it, you might notice a big decline. This is exactly what happened for me. So this is the first thing that we could try. The next thing is 2 nutrients that can be really helpful in the body's ability to process sulfur compounds. This is vitamin B6. Specifically, we would want the form P5P, pyridoxal 5-phosphate. This is the most physiologically appropriate form, and a trace mineral called molybdenum. Both of these are involved in this transsulfuration pathway that I mentioned. We use B6 and molybdenum in taking cysteine and these higher untranssulfurated sulfur compounds that then get processed down into sulfate. So we could try these. Again, you would also want to start on a lower dose of both of these and build them up. And you might find that building them up in parallel is helpful. So let's say we get a molybdenum supplement and a B6 supplement. We start at 1/10 of the dose of each and we build them up 1/10 at a time. This way, we're not creating a new bottleneck, which can cause different levels of symptoms. I personally did something similar to this, except I did it using a trace mineral complex. So I've done another video that I'll stick up on the screen somewhere, or you can just search William Dickinson. I thought I could heal without supplements. I was wrong. The supplement I'm talking about is a trace mineral complex. It has molybdenum in it. It also has things like selenium and iodine and a lot of other really important trace minerals. Very, very helpful for me. And for the B6, I did in a form of a B complex. This is really nice because it just covers so many bases all at the same time. Good B complex, good trace mineral. Like you've set yourself a solid foundation for healing. But in the specific context of glutathione and sulfur intolerance, Epsom salt baths would be the first thing, and then B6 and molybdenum, and build those doses up very, very gradually. Could help with tolerance. Next, it could be that your antioxidant status has been so depleted for such a long period of time that when we throw this extremely powerful antioxidant in, your system just cannot contain it. And instead of going in with like this kind of top heavy approach where it's like you don't have the foundational antioxidants and then we're throwing like this heavy glutathione at the top, it's kind of wobbly. What we want to do instead is this pyramid. When we're healing, we always want to think about pyramids. Solid foundations mean you never lose progress. When it comes to antioxidants, there is a step-by-step progression that I would walk you through. I actually have a full video, and again, stick that up somewhere. I'll put it in the description below. Full step-by-step process to antioxidant loading, and glutathione is the last step in antioxidant loading for exactly this reason. But to give you a quick, like 30-second summary, we start with grounding and earthing. We want to do this while we sleep because there are far more benefits, and it becomes one of these routines that's habit stacked. It's a part of our daily routine. You're going to sleep every day anyway. So if you can sleep while you're grounded, amazing. You're going to get free electrons, which are basically antioxidants from the earth every night. It's a one-time purchase. It's going to contribute the most to your total antioxidant load. Absolutely life-changing modality. Next would be to add a more broad spectrum kind of antioxidant complex. My favorite way to do this is with juicing, because not only do you get all of the plant-based antioxidants like vitamin C, but you're also going to be getting all of the polyphenols, all of the other plant phytochemicals that enhance the effect of antioxidants, whilst providing small amounts of like vitamins and trace minerals, which help to keep these things more balanced. So think about grounding is the bottom of the pyramid, juicing is the middle layer of the pyramid, and then at the top layer of the pyramid, we've got different antioxidant compounds. Instead of jumping in with glutathione straight away, I would try something like NAC, if you're handling sulfur okay, or something like vitamin C, or any other type of antioxidant compound. You could use like a berry polyphenol complex. You could use a type of antioxidant complex. There's a lot of different things that we could use here, but this has a glutathione sparing effect, and it can help to get your body ready to receive these higher level of antioxidants. Once we've incorporated all of these things, then we can try glutathione again. And again, start it on a small dose and build it up, 1/10 of a dose, build it up very, very gradually. So just to summarize here, start with the grounding, earthing, bottom of the pyramid. Middle of the pyramid, juicing, broad spectrum antioxidant and polyphenol support, and then more specific antioxidants right at the top. So things like vitamin C, could use like alpha lipoic acid, antioxidant complexes could work, sulforaphane, like broccoli sprouts would fit here as well. And then finally layer that glutathione in on the top. One common cause of glutathione intolerance is some sort of metal toxicity, very often mercury. Glutathione will mobilize this because it's a sulfur-based antioxidant, so it uses cysteine as its base. It's made of cysteine, glycine, and glutamine. The cysteine makes it a thiol group, so it basically has a strong affinity for metals. If you know that heavy metals, especially like mercury, are a part of your current health presentation, if you just go in with a high dose of glutathione, it's going to start pulling mercury out of your brain. You're going to feel terrible. It's going to be headaches. You're going to get redistribution. You're going to feel really, really bad. If this is the case, you might find glutathione isn't the thing for you right now. And instead, we need to work on building more of the low-level elimination processes. So we need to get your bowels moving daily. We need to make sure that you have good levels of antioxidants that are non-sulfur containing. So not NAC, not glutathione. Instead, we would want like vitamin C or the juicing. We want to build your antioxidant status up so that your body's able to handle some fluctuation in inflammation levels, but we want to be really cautious with the sulfur containing antioxidants like the NAC and the glutathione. And it might be a case of, again, you just jumped in a little bit, like kind of in the deep end. You need to start really, really slow, because if you mobilize these toxins in a slow way, your body's able to handle it. And then you can build it up, and you can build these other supports up as you do it. Whereas if you just jump in the deep end, it throws all of your biochemistry out of balance. You feel terrible, and you don't actually get the healing results that you're looking for. The final angle to look at would be its influence in immunity. So if you're somebody that has a history of chronic infections, if you're someone that's had chronic fatigue syndrome, if you're someone that's struggled with stuff like Lyme or EBV, or you've just had immune dysfunction, autoimmunity would also be a good indicator of this. There's a good likelihood that the glutathione is pushing your body into a heightened state of immune activation, and it simply isn't able to handle this just yet. If this is you, then the antioxidant loading process that I outlined would be a good idea to follow. You could start on building those things up and then eventually getting to glutathione. But we would also want to look at other aspects of immunity. So making sure that you're well nourished in other ways and that you have a good BMI. So you've got a good amount of muscle mass, a little bit of body fat to spare. Very, very helpful. We could also look at doing something like short-term prolonged fasting. This is absolutely amazing for detoxification and for rebuilding the immune system. It can have a bit of a depleting effect on your antioxidants because obviously you're not providing your body with resources and ingredients, but it has this amazing rebalancing and recalibrating effect on both the detoxification and immune systems. I would say that single-handedly, one of the things that helped me to improve my chronic fatigue syndrome the most was doing a series of short-term prolonged fasts. So this is where I would do roughly 36 hours fasted every Friday. So just on Fridays, I basically wouldn't eat. And I did this for basically about a year. I did many fasts before that as well, but these were hugely influential in helping me regain my immune system back. Right now, I actually have a sore throat, which is, for me, is like a miracle. I used to never be able to even get sick. So I have an immune system again. It's amazing. And I earned this back using the fasting. So this can be one really, really helpful angle. If you're also struggling to tolerate glutathione from this immune angle, you probably have a microbiome imbalance. Your gut microbiome is probably deficient in a lot of the beneficial microbes. And I wouldn't be surprised. So a good indicator that this is you is not only do you tolerate glutathione poorly, but you also have a very strong or negative reaction to probiotics, even in low doses. If this is you, it's probably going to make more sense to work on the probiotics first before you try to make progress with glutathione, because all of detox, all of immunity is built on the foundation of your microbiome. So if you're playing around with glutathione and these things, but you don't have a strong microbiome foundation, it's going to be really hard for you to make any solid progress. And even if you do make some progress, you'll probably lose it as soon as you stop taking the glutathione, because we don't have this solid pyramid. And in this case, in immunity, your microbiome is a huge part of immunity. It's this foundation at the bottom of the pyramid. So those are just a couple of things that came to mind that I really wanted to talk about in the context of glutathione intolerance, because it is a super, super heavy lifter. It's a very powerful molecule and it has a lot of profound healing effects, but for that reason, it is hard to tolerate in certain situations. So hopefully this video gives you an idea of potentially why you're not tolerating glutathione well, and it gives you some different actionable steps that you can implement that can help you make progress so you can get to the point where you can start reaping all the benefits of using glutathione. If you want a little bit of extra personalized help, do feel welcome to shoot me an email to support@williamdickinson.co.uk. I take consultations with individuals where we can do a deep dive. We can look at all of the different aspects of what you've got going on, and I can help you find the solution. I can do this because I did it myself. I know what the process is like. I've been there, I've done that, and I'd really love to give you a hand in doing that. So thanks for watching. Hope you've really, really enjoyed. If you've made it all the way to the end of the video, make sure you leave me a little emoji below. Leave me 3 emojis. Doesn't matter what the emojis are. Leave me 3 emojis. You can leave me your favorite emoji. You can leave me an emoji based on what this video made you feel, whatever it is. Leave 3 in a row and I'll know you watched all the way to the end. You're one of my top subscribers. So that's everything for me today. You take care and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.